In the year 1492, as Columbus sailed the ocean blue,
a kingdom falls.
January 2nd, 1492.
This was not a final, glorious battle.
It was the solemn execution of a state. Riding out from the Alhambra, one king meets two monarchs.
Emir Muhammad XII, known as Boabdil.
He dismounts before Ferdinand and Isabella.
He dismounts before Ferdinand and Isabella. This single gesture ends nearly 800 years.
The last light of Al-Andalus is extinguished. In the crucible of conquest, empires clashed.
Two powers collide.
The first, the Catholic monarchs.
Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon.
Their marriage united the rival Christian kingdoms.
They forged a new, formidable power bloc, Spain.
Their ambition was absolute, a single, unified Christian state.
Their project, the final Reconquista.
One ruler remains.
The challenger, Muhammad Swecht, or Boabdil. Emir of the Nasrid Emirate of Granada.
His kingdom was the last remnant of Al-Andalus.
He was not a conqueror, but a survivor.
His ambition was simple: to endure.
But he was a ruler fatally divided against himself.
In the heart of the Sierra Nevada mountains, a journey begins. This is the theater of war. Not a vast continent, but a mountain kingdom. The Emirate of Granada.
For centuries, it survived.
It paid gold tribute to Castile. It balanced diplomacy with raids.
It was a state that existed, as one chronicler wrote, neither in peace nor in war.
But by 1482, this resilience was a mask.
kingdom was rotting from within.
A catastrophic civil war!
Nasrid leadership was fatally fractured.
Emir Abu al-Hassan Ali fought his own son, Boabdil.
Rival emirs controlled separate districts within the capital city itself.
This was the critical weakness.
The economy was collapsing.
Crushing taxes, triple those in Castile, fueled popular dissent.
The state was crippled by incessant internal conflict.
It was surrounded by an enemy that had just achieved perfect unity.
The union of Ferdinand and Isabella ended centuries of Christian rivalry.
They were finally free to aim their combined might at one target.
This was a new kind of war.
It was won by the instruments of a modern state.
The first instrument! A national army! This was not a feudal levy.
It was a 50,000-man composite force.
Pikemen, crossbowmen, and knights of the military orders. It included a growing contingent of soldiers equipped with arquebuses.
This army was unified under the centralized command of the crown.
The second instrument. The Cruzada.
It was a religious imperative that unlocked vital financial support. It provided the funds necessary to build and equip a modern army.
But the decisive instrument
Was the artillery revolution.
Ferdinand and Isabella acquired over 180 heavy cannons. These were the Lombardas.
Gunpowder firepower had never been used on this scale in Iberia.
This technology rendered Granada's medieval defenses obsolete.
The war became a systematic, brutal siege campaign.
Christian forces captured Ronda in 1485.
Malacca fell in 1487 after a grueling siege.
Baza fell in 1489.
Gunpowder firepower and artillery siege operations won the Granadan War. Each fallen city was a nail in Granada's coffin.
The 10-year war reached its endgame.
The grand Christian army arrived before the walls of Granada.
The capital city was now completely isolated.
This was the crucible moment. The problem was not assault. The city was still formidable. A direct attack would be bloody and costly.
The Christian strategy was simpler and far more cruel.
It was a strategy of total, methodical starvation.
The first move was to destroy the Vega.
The fertile plain that served as Granada's breadbasket.
Christian soldiers harvested the grain for themselves.
Then, they cut down the fruit trees and tore up the vines.
They ensured no sustenance could reach the city's inhabitants. The siege became a long, slow process of attrition.
Then, disaster struck the besiegers. An accidental fire swept through the Christian camp. Tents and supplies were devastated. For a moment, it seemed the siege might be broken.
This was the test of the monarch's will.
Would they retreat for the winter or commit to the end?
Though darkness threatened to engulf them, a quiet determination lingered. The monarchs did not retreat.
They unleashed their final, unconventional tactic. It was not a weapon of steel, but of psychology. They built a city. A permanent, fortified city.
In just 80 days, at the very gates of Granada.
It was constructed of brick and mortar, not tents.
It was laid out on a grid in the symbolic shape of a Christian cross.
They named it Santa Fe.
Holy faith.
He had lost the last battle.
This construction was a masterstroke of psychological warfare. A medieval siege was a contest of endurance.
The defenders always hoped to outlast the attackers.
Santa Fe was an unmistakable message to the people of Granada.
His hope, like the vessel, was now broken.
We are not leaving.
This demonstration of limitless resources and unwavering resolve was devastating.
It extinguished all hope within the walls.
Boabdil, pressured by his starving citizens, saw the truth.
There was no possibility of relief.
He secretly opened negotiations for surrender.
The city of brick had conquered the morale of the city of stone.
The fall was not the end.
It was the beginning of the true consequence. The peaceful handover was secured by the Treaty of Granada.
A document that offered remarkably generous terms.
The year is 1490. Granada. A cold winter's day in the city of an uneasy truce.
It was a promise of coexistence. Coexistence.
Muslims were guaranteed the right to practice Islam freely. Their mosques and customs were to be respected.
It stipulated that there would be no forced conversions.
They were promised the right to be judged by their own laws.
And in that moment, the future was rewritten. It was a promise that was broken. Cardinal Cisneros arrived, disdaining the gradual approach.
He began a campaign of forced conversions.
This flagrant violation of the treaty led to an armed revolt in 1499.
The rebellion was suppressed.
And it was used as the pretext to nullify the treaty's protections. By 1501, the choice offered to all Muslims was stark.
Baptism, exile, or enslavement. The betrayal was complete.
It marked the definitive end of convivencia, the complex culture of religious coexistence.
The conquest was complete.
January 2nd, 1492, was the end of the Reconquista.
But the enemy of that 800-year crusade that had driven so many now seemed to have vanished.
Did not simply vanish. The victory at Granada was the capstone of Ferdinand and Isabella's project of state building.
It created a surplus of military capacity and crusading zeal.
It needed a new external target.
The city of Santa Fe stands as a testament to human endeavor, a beacon of civilization in a raw, untamed land.
Just 3 months later, on April 17th,
from within the very military city of Santa Fe,
the monarchs signed a contract with a Genoese explorer.
They agreed to fund his voyage to the Indies.
The fall of Granada directly enabled the age of global empire.
The man was Christopher Columbus.